Friends, we are going to take a topic scheduling and sequencing, which is unit 15 of your course, that is production management BME 013. I am Dr. Ashish Agrawal, course coordinator for your course. I am from School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. In today's session, we are taking these two important areas. One is scheduling and one is your sequencing. Scheduling means with time which activity has to be done at which time. While in case of sequencing, if there are 4 or 5 or 6 activities, what should be the sequence of activities so that we can minimize the idle time. So if you study this today's session, you will be able to understand different job sequencing technique. You will also understand means to analyze different job sequencing rule. The shop floor control, you can describe various mechanisms for shop floor control and the various approaches to plan and control the production processes. If I define a scheduling is a technique by which a given set of orders are processed on the available resources. In other words, we can say scheduling can be used to arrange the resources on the basis of requirement of the orders and also can be used in arranging the order on the basis of requirement of the resources. Now, on the basis of requirement, there are various different ways to schedule. Scheduling techniques are categorized on the basis of demand patterns. On the other hand, sequencing is one of the scheduling technique that deals with the determination of best order for processing a given set of jobs by available facilities or workstation in order to achieve certain objectives. The objectives can be maximization of resources, minimization of flow times of jobs, or minimization of tardiness of the job, that is idle time for the job. Scheduling process involves the decision making regarding the allocation of capacity of resources. Thus, the process can be called as time-phased plan or schedule of activity. There are several objectives which may be high efficiency, low inventory, good customer service, which are to be achieved with effective scheduling processes. If we see the other definition of scheduling, you will find it is a process of converting a general or outline plan for a project into a time-based graphic presentation given by given information on available resources or time constant. That means if we get some raw data, with the help of scheduling, we will make a graphical representation with respect to time which represent that which activity is to be completed at what time. There are various types of scheduling. If you see your content which we have provided, that is Gantt chart, milestone chart, progress chart, networks, earned value, and line of balance. For the sake of clarity, I have taken the help of Wikipedia and provided you some definition which are given in the open source at website. If I take the example of Gantt chart, it was invented by Henry Gantt, and basically it is a bar chart which illustrate the various types of activities, just like we have given planning, design, research, implementation, and when these activities are to be occurred, that we have given at the top. So Gantt chart is a very powerful tool. The only thing is that it does not have the interdependence, it does not show the interdependence of the activities. Second type of chart is milestone chart, where we have a group of milestone which are very similar to Gantt chart. Here milestone means which type of activity has to be completed in what period of time, or how much time will be required, that is shown by the milestone chart. Similarly, progress chart. In this chart, we show the progress of various activities and we point out whether completed or not completed. Similarly, project network or network, it depicts the sequence of various activities. If we have a project, we first identify the smallest element, and on the basis of interdependence of those elements, we draw the network. So this depicts the sequence. On the basis of network, we can define the critical path and the idle time, or earliest start time, earliest finish time, or total project duration we can find out. In case of earned value, we normally monitor the project plan in the actual or completed sense. Earned value shows how much of the budget and the time should have been spent considering the amount of work done so far. You just see the picture, we have some target, and the earned value will show that with respect to the budget and time, how much work has been completed. Line of balance also is a management tool and normally used in the construction activities, just like road building, road making, pipelines, tunnel, where one line will show you the exact line which we have to follow, and the another small activities which are to be completed given in the line of balance. In case of production control, the first comes is a shop floor control, where the normal fabrication work occurs. Therefore, we can define shop floor control is a system used to maintain and communicate the information flow in the shop floor. For the proper functioning of the whole process, this control system plays an important role. The major function of shop floor includes determine the order of processing of the raw jobs, maintains the proper record of work in process, measure the utilization, efficiency and other performance related to workstation and shop floor. It acts as an information medium for the managers by conveying the information of the status of shop floor to the manager's office. There are various tools which are normally used for the shop floor control. The basic tools required for the shop floor are a dispatch list, which is used to describe the information related to processing status of the jobs in the shop floor. Another tool is an anticipated delay report, which is used to convey the information to the supervisor related to delay jobs or the delayed job, causes of delay and their effect on the whole system. Another tool is the report related to the job scraps along with their rework possibilities. Reports related to the performance measures of the entire firm, and another information which is required is related to input/output control of the system to observe the workload of the workstation. Now, what we mean by input and output control? This control system contributes in the proper functioning of the manufacturing planning. Its main work is to check the output by comparing with the required input. Since increment in the output can cause backlogs in the machining centers, which result in increment in manufacturing lead time. Further, such situation can cause the problem in proper processing of the jobs, and therefore the flow of the work becomes unpredictable. The same analogy is expressed by giving a water flow control system given in the figure. In order to control the output, that is input upon output control system, we have to use it. This is show how the new orders are coming and how the orders after completions are going. We have a production control, we have a manufacturing lead time, we have a input flow, we have a output flow. Now, when it comes to the types of control system, after the completion of scheduling process, it becomes very necessary to control the production process. Some of the approaches for the control of production system are given as follows. The first one is pond draining system. In this approach, the focus is on the holding the reservoirs of the materials to support the production process. It is considered as the most common approach to resolve the control process. In this process, only a little information is flowed between the suppliers and the customers' levels, because the manufacturers are unaware of any data related to the production of order. As a result of that, many products are made earlier and stored as a finished good inventory. Now, when the customer demands these products, the finished good inventory becomes a drain of products. The finished good inventory stored or restored the products by making the finished goods from the work in process inventory. Now, work in process inventory becomes exhausted from the products. The work in process inventory becomes enriched of the semi-finished product by extracting the raw material inventory. In this way, the pond draining approach can be used to process of production planning and control while using a little information from the suppliers and the producers. We will show you the coming figure which explains you the pond draining approach. Friends, we are discussing about the pond draining approach to production planning and control. I have specifically taken this figure because this picture will give you a conceptual idea what we have discussed in the earlier slide. If you just see at the top, we have a raw material inventory. In the middle, we have a work in process inventory, while at the bottom, we have a finished goods inventory. On the right side, we have a consumer. On the left side at the top, we have a supplier. Now, in a pond draining approach, what we meant by finished goods inventory? That means whatever products which are ready and which we are going to supply to the consumer, from that a certain portion of products we are keeping as a finished good inventories. Suppose due to some reasons the manufacturing company is not able to produce the goods, or there are increase in the customer demand and the company does not have sufficient resources to fulfill that demand. Now, what the company will do? From the resources of the finished goods inventory, the company will try to satisfy the increasing demand of the consumers or the customers. Now, in order to fill the finished goods inventory resource, the company will try to drain the work in process inventory. That means if the company is keeping the finished good inventory, the company is also keeping the work in process inventory. So company will drain the inventory of semi-finished product and will try to build up the inventory for the finished good inventory. To fill the gap created in the work in process inventory, the company will drain raw material inventory and try to fill the work in process inventory gap. So this is a very good approach that is called as a pond draining approach in case of production planning and control. Now we will describe you two systems. One system is your push system and another system is called as a pull system. Push system mainly works by extracting the information from the suppliers, customers to manage the flow of materials. The raw materials are arrived at the factory only when they needed to make batches and sub-assembly. These batches and parts are proceeding for final processing when they are actually needed. Further, these finished products or the parts are assembled and shipped only when they are demanded by the customers. This way, the whole production process takes place by the action of force that tends the raw material to be processed according to their demand. An example of this type of production and control can be given as suppose an order of 100 parts have been demanded by the customer on April 30, and suppose each sub-production process takes 2 weeks of time. So we have make a formula or the table for this particular schedule. You just see the first process is material purchasing, part kit production, make sub-assembly and the final assembly. So there will be one start date for material purchasing, that is March 2. We will complete it by March 16. Part kit production 17 to March 31. Make sub-assembly April 1 to April 15. Then final assembly April 16 to April 30. Under the push system, the accuracy of the schedule plays a significant role in effective production of the parts, and the accuracy of the schedule depends upon the information that is flowing in the system. The great achievement of the push production and control is the reduction of raw material inventory along with the greater utilization of all production units, that is machine and labor. Now we will come to the pull system. The main aim of pull system is to reduce the inventory level in all possible stages of the production process. Here the requirement of the next stage production are determined by the production process that is going to place at the next level. Here in pull system, products move from upstream stage of the production to downstream of the production system with little accumulation of inventory. Thus, in pull system, raw material and unfinished products or the parts are pulled from their storage for their final processing. This pull system is well known as a just-in-time manufacturing. In JIT manufacturing, the managers are very much involved to solve the shop floor problem. Exact arrival of the part, time of the parts, quality production and low inventory are some of the characteristics of JIT manufacturing or the pull system. In JIT manufacturing, all problems are solved at the spot whenever they arise. This way, the production process does not interrupted by all these factors. Now, in earlier session of theory of constant, we have discussed about the bottlenecks. In the recent past, some production planning control systems have turned their interest towards the production of bottlenecks. Under the bottleneck operation, the arrival rate of products are very faster than their completion rate. This way, the whole production process is constrained by bonding capacity of the products. The whole system is controlled by the action of the concept such as drum buffer and rope. At the bottleneck point, the production process is controlled, and this complete process is called as a drum because it establishes the beat to be followed by all the operation. Further, master production schedule, in short MPS, can be obtained by the drums. A buffer in the form of time is stored before a bottleneck to achieve continuous production. These buffers give the assurance of meeting the due dates requirement of the customer with high reliability. A rope acts as a communication medium, that is schedule, that prevents the building of large inventory. Also, the rope helps the master production schedule by coordinating the required activities. The rope ensures that every production stage is synchronized by the master production schedule. Now, let me ask you one simple question so that you may recall whatever we have discussed. describe the process involved in the shop floor control. In what way the various production and planning control approaches differs from each other. In this particular session, we have started by describing the basic concept and the role of scheduling in the industry. Various job sequencing rules that we will discuss in the coming session, and on the basis of certain objective, the performance of these sequencing rules are analyzed. We have also discussed about pond drain system, where we are using finished goods inventory. We have also touched how to produce the bottleneck. Bottleneck capacity or the production is that production where incoming is more and completion rate is at the low level. So it acts as a bottleneck. In coming slides, we will discuss various other aspects of scheduling, and we will also discuss various job sequencing rules in the coming session. Thank you.